Maria, I want to first you to explain before we go to the Access My India votes on age composition, why the youth vote. We keep mentioning Mahila and we did it at the outset. What is the youth factor in Bihar?
Yes. So we have been talking about the Mahila factor. They have tilted the balance of power in favor of Nitish Kumar in 2020, clearly giving a decisive edge to the NDA. Now, what is the youth factor that is being discussed in the context of 2025 Bihar? Just look at these numbers here. In all, the total number of registered voters in Bihar stands at 7.43 crores, of which the young voters, which is male and female, in the age group of 18 to 30 is 1.63 crore, which is 22% of the total electorate. And again, the first-time voters, again a very important category, is 14.1 lakh voters. This becomes important because Bihar has been, it is the state which is the youngest in terms of its demographic, but also has several complexities. And is the youth now despondent, frustrated with the current regime is the big question. Now let's give you a sense of how this Yuva or the youth of Bihar voted in 2020 polls. Look at this number. Again, in this age bracket of 18 to 29, they voted significantly for the NDA. The gap between the NDA and the Mahagathbandhan in 2020 was 4%. I'll be asking the producer to put that on our television screens. In 2020, that age gap between in that group of 18 to 29, Mahagathbandhan got 37% of votes, NDA getting 41%. When we look at, again, this young men and young women, NDA and Mahagathbandhan almost getting the same numbers. In fact, Mahagathbandhan got 39%, NDA got 38%. What about now? Okay. Rajdeep, over to you.
That's interesting because the Access My India poll is saying the following, and listen to these numbers carefully. In their age-wise vote share, they are giving in the age group 20 to 29, many of them first-time voters, and 22% of Bihar is this, 37% to NDA, but 44% to the Mahagathbandhan. So the Mahagathbandhan actually has a 7% lead. There has been so much talk of the youth factor, but a 7%. So if the Mahagathbandhan is still in the race, as per Access My India, it's the youth which is propelling Tejashwi Yadav forward. And Jan Suraj, which many people, the new party of Prashant Kishor, is just getting 6%. Now, if you go, on the other hand, to those who are over 60 to 69 age, here there is a 10% gap in favor of the NDA. 49%, 39%. Remember, pensions were increased to 1100 rupees just before the election. Go over 70, the age group over 70, the gap is 16%. 51% to NDA and only 35% to Mahagathbandhan. What's the story? Those who have experienced Lalu Raj or have been there in the Lalu years seem reluctant to vote for possibly the Mahagathbandhan. The newer voters who are born after in the 2000s are willing to experiment with the Tejashwi. Would I be right, Rajat Sethi? The younger you are in Bihar at the moment, the more you are willing to experiment with a non-NDA arrangement.
Largely, this is an NDA problem, and this is a pan-India problem. This also reflected in 2024, and we discussed this, that it is this young voter which hasn't experienced the UPA days, hasn't experienced the Lalu days. If you pick Madhya Pradesh, they haven't experienced Digvijay's days or years. So this segment of new voters who just don't know what a Congress rule looks like, what a Lalu rule looks like, they are toying with the idea because there is a degree of lack of jobs in the state, and they want, and they are the fatigue factor results into maximum actionable events only in this segment. So I believe they have come out in the hope that they can get.
The interesting thing is, why have they not gone for Prashant Kishor? Prashant Kishor was banking on this youth factor as per the Access My India poll. And remember, I want to put this caveat. When you're a new party, it is often that you get underpolled in exit polls because you may not have any past parameters to go by. Why have they not gone for Prashant Kishor? Why have they chosen a Tejashwi between 20 and 29?
There are certain and I have been following Prashant's journey over the past couple of years. I believe that he made a couple of basic errors. One was not contesting the election. True. Not contesting the election in a place which respects sacrifice. You going out, contesting, fighting it out, doing a Kejriwal kind of a thing, wins and losses are a small thing when you're trying to be the challenger. If you're not being seen in that frame, that you can go out and challenge, there are going to be repercussions. You will not leave the campaign up to a crescendo. You need to build up the narrative and take it to a level.
Go ahead. Yes, strong objection, go ahead.
Number one, youth voters should be about 29%. At 22, we are saying the SIR has left out the youth. How or why, I don't know.
No, our figures show 22% of Bihar is between the age of 18 and 29, the highest in the country.
Okay, fine.
Now, out of that, at the moment, Tejashwi Yadav and the Mahagathbandhan have a 7% lead.
Okay, so let me just tell you one thing, that if Prashant Kishor has not been standing with the youth, he has not understood the basics of Bihari politics. Since anti-Congress politics has started in Bihar in the 1990s, it has been Sushil Modi, it has been Lalu Prasad Yadav, it has been Nitish Kumar, who were all youth politicians from Patna University. That has shifted. The poorer generation that has gone to schools under Nitish now goes for coaching centers in Musallapur Hat, right across Patna University. The fact is that in Musallapur Hat, the Kurmis, Kushwahas, Yadavs, there is a slugfest amongst OBC children. Who is out of that? Prashant Kishor and the Congress party not there. One second, let me just complete this point. I would say in Gandhi Maidan, where I heard Jaiprakash and Karpuri, 5 a.m. in the morning, you see barefoot young people running for Bharti. And therefore, I believe that the primary demand of the youth in Bihar today is Bharti and jobs.
So, go ahead. Yes, Javed.
And it is not an NDA process.
No, 1 minute. So, Prashant, 1 minute. Prashant Kishor is also appealing to the youth that I will bring you jobs enough. You've tried up Lalu, you've tried Nitish, but he's not, as per this poll, gathering the traction even among that youth demographic.
Yeah.
That's my question.
Yeah, because he's not seen as a serious contender. Because he's a first timer. He's still not seen, while there is no doubt that he's the only one who's laid down a futuristic roadmap. The others haven't. But just to dismiss this is because they haven't suffered under Congress and UPA, and therefore they are going. That's not true. It's because there are not enough jobs and they are frustrated with the present dispensation.
But Mala, are you surprised?
This is exactly anti-incumbency.
Yeah, but
you need to build it up. My problem is that could this have been a pan-age group sort of a phenomena? Why did it not happen for a pan-age group phenomena? It is the only...
Juxtapose these numbers on the youth vote in 2020. It practically mirrors the same divide. So what happened in terms of what the youth voted in the age group of 20 to 29%, where you have, I think, 37% NDA, 44, so about 8% difference between NDA and the Mahagathbandhan in the youth.
My sense is very clear.
Practically
those
mirrors
who have
2020.
memories of what happened in the Lalu years of 1990s are reluctant to turn the clock back.
Yes,
do you agree with that?
Yes,
you grew up in that era.
This is an election of memories, as we have been saying. Good memories of Nitish Kumar, as there is a sense of gratitude, even among people who have seen his era and those children who have heard it from their parents. So when we say that this is a generation willing to experiment, let's also not forget that they may be also outside Bihar. They have seen certain things. They are willing to experiment on those lines. But Rajdeep, one thing is clear, that I have met in Jahanabad someone who was from the Bhumiyar community, was working in Maharashtra, who said that I would rather go with the Tejashwi, who's promising 2.5 crore vote.
I just want to put very...
Just 30 seconds.
Axis My India poll.
Yes.
Unemployed. They've gone to occupation. Unemployed, 34% NDA, 49% Mahagathbandhan. If you don't have a job today in Bihar, you have looked in this election to Tejashwi Yadav as an alternative. Now we can diss the fact that how will he provide 2.79 crore job, because he said one job per household.
Jan Suraj, Rajdeep?
The Jan Suraj is just 6%.
Even in unemployment?
Even in unemployment. Yeah. Among students, 33% NDA, 48% Mahagathbandhan. Then as you go higher, the real gap starts. If you're self-occupied or if you're a housewife, 48% are saying NDA, 37% are saying Mahagathbandhan. So law and order there becomes an important issue, and there the memories come of the past. So again, if you say self-employed, 49% NDA, 36% Mahagathbandhan. So the challenge really was that there was anti-incumbency. But how do I build on anti-incumbency if this exit poll is right? Has been a challenge for the Mahagathbandhan. And if these numbers are right, they have not yet been able to build on it. Even among farmers, it's virtually a dead heat, but it is really among the unemployed for one side versus those who have occupations or housewives on the other. Yes, now Gaurav.
You know, the only point I wanted to make was in the Seemanchal belt, where it was believed that MGB will do extremely well and they may still do well. The youth parents said they're missing, they're outside, they've gone out looking for a job because there are no jobs in Bihar. So would they be voting? Point one. Point two, the other point they were raising was, yes, there is delivery of Nitish Kumar versus promise of Tejashwi Yadav. Will Tejashwi Yadav deliver those one government job per family, and how will he deliver that 30,000 per month? That was the question they were asking.
Taken. Okay, there are interesting also numbers coming in the Axis My India poll on geography. Rural areas, NDA 43%, Mahagathbandhan 41%. Urban areas 44%, Mahagathbandhan 42%. The Jan Suraj 5% rural, 4% urban. So the Jan Suraj, in a way, Sajjan, could it be undercounted? I'm looking at the caveats. Let's be honest, exit polls are not the final result. When I look at these numbers, if this Jan Suraj goes from 5 and 4% to 8, 9%, not even double digit, does it change the election? Because in rural and urban, the gap is just 2%. I know it's significant. It's significant. 2% is significant. But there's also the possible underpolling of the Jan Suraj. Could that be a caveat?
If it goes, Rajdeep, then certainly. But what we also see, one of the trend that voters may like you and that we got. But if you do not see your candidate as winnable ones in the constituency, they would vote to someone else rather than you.
So that is why Bihari wisdom कि हम उसी को वोट देंगे जो चुनाव जीतेगा.
Exactly. So that is why I do not think it's underreported.
Rajdeep, I believe that Prashant Kishor's real surprise is that he could do well in pockets in rural areas. It came to me as a complete surprise because I was looking at it as an urban party. In Chhapra, as you know, I have seen them do very well in Garkha, in Parsa. I have seen them do well in Madhara. I don't know what the overall impact of all this will be, but I didn't know that he had struck a chord in rural
By polls,
areas.
Rajdeep, 11%. Jan Suraj took in by polls 11% vote.
Yeah.
If we are looking at a 4%, I think the general traditional psephology in the last couple of days has suggested that if Prashant Kishor's Jan Suraj polls about 9%, then it cuts into MGB's vote. If it crosses 11%, then we are looking at cutting into the NDA's vote share. At 4%, has he been underpolled is a question that needs to be answered.